Oops. There we go. Hello, and welcome back to the Overwatch Community Cup. Today we're going to have a scrim between the Pyeongchang Pingsocks and the LA Immortals. If you watched yesterday, Astrolibrium and I casted the Pyeongchang Pingsocks, and we're going to see them again today versus the LA Immortals. While we're choosing the map, let's go ahead and look at the icon meta. We are going to start off in King's Row, but more importantly, I need to resize the gameplay. Apologies for these technical difficulties, but in any case, looking at the icons, we clearly have Quab being a team leader playing as the Rhinoceros icon, while the rest of his team, Asmail, Jachi, Menticat, Paint on Table, and Reaper Lord, are going with the LA Valiant icon. They have two teams from Los Angeles to root for and to represent, but they are going to side with the Valiant as that is what their icon is based on. The other team in the Community Cup, the LA Gloriators, is based off of the Gladiators themselves. On the opposing team, we do have the Pingsocks. Yesterday we saw the opposite trend. Everyone had High Dragon's icon, except for one player. But now we have 5 players with champagne glasses rather, and one popping the Pingsock bottle. And we are going to go right up into King's Row, which is, again, a very fan-favorite map, one of my favorites. And there's just so much diversity and compositions that you can play, and we're going to jump into it. Here's the statue that teams can use as cover, or they can go on the right or straight forward. Let's see how the attacking team is going to try and hold this. We might see a Widow come up from here, snipe the point. There's another spot up here that's very good for getting a cross-section while your team pushes. All to get this cart underway. Streets phase verticality is less important, so you can run a Reinhardt Zarya. That's typically what you can run on attack if you feel like this is going to be a little bit more of a drawn-out fight. You can get charge on the Zarya. And at this point, unless there's a Widow or a Junkrat up here, you don't have to worry about verticality too much. So Death Ball is definitely something that you can run, more so on this map than others. And we can see the LA Immortals are going to do exactly that. They're going to run a Reinhardt Zarya, try and get some charge off of the Reinhardt. Reaper Lord is going to be on the Junkrat, trying to do as much damage as he can. Menticat is going to use the sonar, at the very least, and trying to get some headshots. We do have Jachi teasing us with Junkrat, but he's going to switch to the Lucio. Mercy most likely to damage boost Junkrat grenades. On the opposing team, the Pyeongchang Pingsocks, we're going to have Reinhardt Zarya of their own with a Junkrat. Ana is very good on this particular leg, as she has some pretty long line of sight to be able to heal her targets, and they have a Tracer to go after discorded targets. And we're going to start by just trying to use this statue for cover. The Junkrat trap is down, so they're going to push through the hotel. Asmail doesn't get anything off of that fire strike, and he's just getting kind of bullied in here. Gets fire struck again. That's not something you want to have happen here in that hotel. It's going to be 2 stars. Ooh, Menticat gets tagged on the way up, but he does survive. Just barely. Moving forward, we've got Quab at a little bit of energy. It's going to be very easy to charge up off of this Junkrat. Look, already from 30 to 65. The Graviton is the most important thing, though. Both Quab and can't aim for Schultz. They're very even as far as that goes, but here comes Quab getting the damage in 100 charge, takes out the Junkrat. This fight's going in favor of the LA Immortals, as the tank and DPS are down, and there go the rest. But just as Zenyatta caught out of position behind the hotel, that is going to be a quick cap with almost 3 minutes. That was pretty textbook. One dry run, one take. No ultimates used from either side, as they haven't had enough fights to charge those up yet. We're going to see a fight up here already, as LA Immortals wants to make as much space for the payload to move forward as possible. Asmael is anti-healed though. Magicat finds a pick on a Caesar Salad. That's going to be huge. So there's a lot of healing potential gone on side of the Pingsocks. The player to watch right now is going to be Magicat, who does have his Dragon Strike. Scatter bounces everywhere, but the enemy, but he gets a headshot onto Blackwing, who is low health, should not have been peeking at all since he didn't have Ana. Math is hard. Does find Reaper Lord though. It'll be strange to see if that actually slows down the push or not. Madcat's trying to get some good positioning. A Tire does come out though. He's gonna go all the way around. And onto the Lucio. Doesn't find the Mercy though, who was very close, and is gonna get the Resurrect. Pain on table is gonna send out the Valkyrie. Just gonna fly away from Genji, not gonna get picked. But this fight needs to start happening. A lot of Valkyrie was used, but the fight didn't actually start. Graviton and Shatter and Dragon Strike does come out though. The only reason that a player died on the team of LA Immortals is because Quab ended up on Junkrat's mines. That was textbook old combination. And now they're moving on to the third phase with 5 minutes left. Pyeongchang and Pingsocks are going to need to do something to get some footing. With a handful of ultimates on their own, almost 6 in fact, they have a very high chance of getting a stop here, but they need to do something, and quick. They do get a charge, but onto a bubble character. Back and forth, Mathishard does get Reaper Lord. That Junkrat's not going to be in this fight, and they just need to break down that shield to get a good shatter. He does come out to protect the players, but Blade is going to be enough, along with a Reinhardt Hammer. 120 damage per swing of a Genji Blade, 75 with a Reinhardt Hammer. That will just rip apart anyone in a Graviton, even with Lucio barriers. Reaper Lord's got his Tire. If you can get a handful of picks, that'll be huge, although at this point, the LA Immortals are going to want to do some dry runs. They don't want to use any ultimates. They need to focus on getting ultimates out of the Pingsocks. Looks like Reaper Lord is going to get some interesting position, though. He looks like he might be trying to use his Tire very soon. He's going to jump to the high ground. Manticat does find Mathis hard. Shatter does come out, but it doesn't seem like it gets anything. Blackwing is nanoed. And there's a Tire from B. That is definitely pick it up. The one problem for the Pingsocks, though, is they have 3.5 minutes to defend with only 1 defense ultimate. And Graviton is coming up soon for Quab. A Graviton Tire will eat through any Transcendence healing. And this is exactly what the LA Immortals wanted. They did that dry run, didn't use Rip Tire. Joshi is going to go down to a Fire Strike, but that's okay. He's going to get rezzed up. But you can't res another one. Asmael does go down. And that's going to put a halt to the LA Immortals push. A little cute spray for Reinhardt's going to go up. But with Grav, Earth Shatter, and Tire, and a Valkyrie to top everyone off, this fight should be in favor of the LA Immortals once they ever actually force it to happen. And here comes a blocked Shatter. He's anti-healed. The Grav does come out, but there's nothing to pick it up. Tire does get one, but that is not the Grav that they wanted. It had basically everyone from the enemy team, but there was no one to finish off those targets. Pingsocks does have to back up, though. But the kills are coming in favor of the LA Immortals. Manticat gets a sonar arrow on Zarya. He can definitely see her now. With a really good zoning ult, he's going to shut down that door. That severely cuts off their options of contesting. Blade is going to come out, though, and take out 2. And it'll be up to Reaper Lord to Pain on table, see if he wants to get a res or if they want to back out. Quab does get 2, though. This might be the time to keep fighting. If he can get the Alright, now they're pushing the payload. Asmael's low, but no one's able to contest, and they do make it. The LA Immortals with a solid time. almost 2 minutes, they'll have a lot of time to push the second, or their second round if they so need to. Now it'll be up to the Pingsocks to see if they can attack any faster. 2 minutes is a very solid time, but it's not unbeatable. By all means, they should be able to try to tie up this series. And here we see Statue of Anomnik pouring out for Mondata. On the Pingsocks attack, we're gonna run what looks like a quad tank, which has been very successful on this King's Row point A. Diva's doing a little dance. But with a Reinhardt, Roadhog, Zarya, and Diva, with Caesar Salad on what I imagine will be the Lucio, this will be a lot of good, beefy health pools. That'll be really hard to take down unless the LA Mortals can predict a quad tank setup. Caesar Salad is going to pull a Muma, will most likely switch on the opposing team. We are just going to have a semi-standard kind of death ball composition. We've got Manticat as a Tracer, going to try and finish off any targets that get hit by damage-boosted Junkrat grenades. These two DPS, Tracer and Junkrat, might have what it takes to get rid of 4 tanks, especially if they can get down one of the healers, but this is definitely going to be an uphill battle. And here comes the tank apocalypse. Tracer is in the back line, but does get hooked, and Math is hard takes Manticat down. They're just going to walk onto this point. Blackwing actually gets a charge on the Mercy. Pain on table's down, and he gets Jachi. That's huge. This fight is won basically single-handedly by Blackwing, just by doing that alone. Finishes off Quab with Fire Strike, and that's going to be an incredibly quick take. As the LA Mortals reconvene, they're going to have to decide where they want to hold. Do they want to hold up at that archway, or do they want to hold behind this corner, try and hide from the sight lines? I think it would be best to hold up at that archway, because they just want to stop those beefy tanks as much as possible. And maybe not to win the fight, but to stall the fight. But it is up to them on where they want to take this fight. Genji is up on the high ground. As we do see composition switch from Pingsocks, they've dropped quad tank very quickly. Mathishard and Vi are now on DPS, which I appreciate a lot. They now have the verticality to get through this point. And they don't even have a chance to be countered by a Reaper. By switching from the Junkrat earlier to the Pharah is doing a lot of damage. Tolas does come out to heal, but it's too late for Caesar Salad, and Mathishard. Pain on table gets bubbled while she gets the res on Asmoel. This is going to be a very back-and-forth fight, but there is no one to contest V. Soldier's trying his best. That seems to be a recent swap. But V already has 70% ult and has yet to die as Pharah. Quab does have Graviton, and this could put a stop to them. Pingsocks need to be careful not to group up too much. And Manticat, doing his best, really needs to find a way to get that Pharah. Pharah, who now has a Mercy, which is going to be a big problem. Oh, and Manticat is going to get that by Mathishard as well. Grav comes out, but so do barriers. But Manticat is able to get the Pharah, but with all this damage being thrown onto him and a Mercy about to res. We'll see if that is a permanent death. Valkyrie does come out. There is no res on the Pharah. Blackwing charges someone who's barriered and gets charged himself. This is going to be an LA Mortals fight. Oh, and Quab punches Caesar Salad to the spawn room. Asmo used Earth Shatter definitely when he didn't need to. He had already won the fight. His team were already the clear victors, which is definitely going to give Blackwing an advantage, as he doesn't have to worry about it anymore. And they have every ult except for the support ults. Reaper Lord, though, is going to be the one to watch out for. His Riptire can more than enough take apart a team. Let's see if it's coming soon. He probably wants to use it around this corner so that he's safe while his Tire can try and stop them before they get through this choke point. Quab used Grav. Not going to use the Tire for that, though. Visor's going to come out, though, and immediately get just walloped out of him. Earthshard does get blocked by one Zarya bubble. That was an incredibly good bubble. And Blackwing still has yet to use this Graviton. I mean, this Earth Shatter. This team has the ult advantage, has the Grav, has the Earth Shatter. They even have Genji Blade. So it really is up to Can't Aim to put it down, but she does die. Quab does get pinned, but bubbles herself in time. Blackwing is looking worse for wear. And it is unclear to me why Pingsocks have been holding on to their ultimates for so long. Math is Hard finally uses Blade, but no Grav to use it with, no Earth Shatter. He's kind of just doing his own thing. Does get a lot of picks, so that might be enough. It's just him versus this Reinhardt. And with the Genji on his, or with Lucio on his side, that was actually what he needed to finish this point. So all things considered, it ended up being very good for the ult economy of the Pingsocks. If they had lost that fight, it would have been better to use those ultimates. But the fact that Mathis was able to get as many kills as he did while still holding on to both tank ults was actually very good. V has the Rocket Barrage, and Caesar Salad has the barriers as well. Reinhardt's charge each other. Blackwing still has yet to lay down this Earth Shatter. As Quab's very clearly looking for a Graviton. Does go down though before she can use it. And there's the Grav. Somehow doesn't pin anybody, but V picks it up. Manticat visors but goes down immediately. They haven't pushed the payload since the second point. Perhaps an error of judgment or communication, as no one was actually on the payload that entire fight and a half. As Moyle charges a little bit too far, it does get taken down by Blackwing. That's going to give him another advantage. Only still one on the payload, though. It's slowly coming around the corner. Asmoil does get resurrected. And here comes Mathis Hard. Gonna get crossfired with a charge, but it's not gonna pick anything up. As Reaper Lord does find Zarya. Can't Aim is down. Hydreigon's gonna try and get the res, but that's just gonna make Can't Aim feed even more. 400 health ult charge. And Quab's still holding on to this Grav. Caesar Salad and Hydreigon both have their support ults. They can make this fight work if they want. But they're gonna have to really commit. They don't have any DPS ults, but they still have Earth Shatter. With less time to finish it than the LA Mortals had by the end of it, they need to make something happen and quick. The last thing they want is for this to run into overtime. They do get caught in Grav. Earth Shatter does come out to try and stop it. And so does Visor. Visor, Manticat again just gets taken out immediately. His Visors have not had any value, as he dies as soon as he hits Q. Valkyrie's gonna keep everyone alive, but they're actually not contesting the payload. Sadly, Blackwing's charge pushes everyone out of the way instead of getting any actual kills. Zarya is on the high ground due to some kind of move. But V almost has his tire. Mathis Hard does get charged, and then Earthstar does knock down a bunch. Hydreigon's gone. Without using Valkyrie too, they don't have time to lose a Mercy with Valkyrie. That's what he wanted. He wanted a grab tire. Will this be enough to finish it out? A tire gets 2 on the side of the Mortals, and a charge is going to take out Blackwing. Way too late, Valkyrie is on the way. There's nothing that Hydreigon is going to be able to do, and that is going to be the first game going in favor of the Mortals. Play of the game is going to go to Mathis Hard as the Genji. He did have some very good plays for the Pingsocks. This grab, and especially the essentially solo blade he had with his Lucio that got Pingsocks the second point. There was a lot of good singular plays from the Pingsocks, but the team play was not there. So the Pingsocks do go down, and the LA Immortals do get a point. The Pingsocks seem to have some trouble, particularly their supports needed to use their ults in more key times, especially in Ultimate like Valkyrie. You cannot die with Valkyrie. That needs to be something that you use not prematurely, but to like start a fight. When you're going to initiate, that's when you use Valkyrie. You cannot die with it, especially when there's only 30 seconds left. That is something that you should already be using in the air where no one can touch you, especially since the soldier on Immortals, Manticat, got shut down so easily. That's just not something you can afford to not have in those team fights. The DPS play was very good from the Pingsocks. The grabs were very solid. The Reinhardt duels were very entertaining, and I think were pretty even. I think a lot of that just came down to not having the support ultimates. We're going to go to Hanamura next. Meanwhile, if we look over here, Manticat is rebelling his LA Valiant pride and going with the Houston Outlaws. That is not acceptable for the LA Valiant or the LA Immortals, especially as he is not on the Houston In-Laws. We're going to have a sub out for Pingsocks, though. Just kidding, it was a joke. Caesar Salad is still in. Mind Bales actually in for Caesar Salad, as we are going to get this game on soon. Hanamura is one of the 2 CP maps on this rotation for the Community Cup preseason. I imagine that Anubis is not an option, as that is the most least offensive 2CP map. Hanamura can be pretty bad, colloquially called Dranamura in Overwatch competitive, especially before the 3-tick system was added as a competitive point. The spawns on the defense are just so strong. The spawn advantage is ridiculous. Even if you're getting kills as the attacking side, if it's not fast enough, the defense will be able to draw out that point as long as they can. First point, definitely not as favored for the defense. It's essentially a given that the attacking team will take it, assuming that they have the full 4 minutes. That's something you can run with Dive, Death Ball. We actually saw triple or quad tank earlier today, which is really interesting. It actually worked very well and ended up NYXD had 6 minutes left after attacking point A and point B with quad tank. So it might be something that we see here today. It'll be up to the attacking teams to decide. We also saw a Bastion on defense here, which is good if you are expecting a triple or quad tank, or even a Death Ball. Bastion can be very useful, but it is a huge risk, because if Bastion has to fight a dive team, he's already good as dead. Genji, Tracer, Winston, D.Va can dive him and he'll just be deleted, no matter how many barriers there are, how much healing there is. So, risk-reward. It depends on the kinds of comps. We're going to go in soon, though, so we will keep you posted.
Traveling to Hanamura.
Indeed we are, Athena. We are on our way to the flower village of Japan. Starting in the arcade with Hero 28 and 29 and 30 and 31. You hear to hear first, folks. The next heroes are all Pachimaris. You're gonna see the Power Girl poster. Hunter X on sale in 20XX. It's Melee, boys. Super Mission 2 already out. Go grab your copy in whatever year Overwatch takes place. Stop by the ramen shop on the way. Only $9 for that bowl of ramen. That's not bad. Good to know that inflation hasn't been too terrible in the near distant future. On the side of the Pingsocks, we are going to have a standard death ball defense. Anna's very good. On this point, there's a lot of high ground where she can shoot healing, fairly uncontested unless she gets specifically dived. Reinhardt and Zarya are going to be very good at holding the front door and maintaining charge and shields. On the other team, we do have the Mortals running a dive. Fan on table is going to be on the Mercy, but the rest are going to be the standard dive. Gonna run in, try and go just past these big tanks and cause as much mayhem as they can. Blackwing tried to get a cheeky fire strike, didn't quite work out. And Madcat is already on the other side, already diving the Ana. And he's already on the point, as the tanks are as well. They just went through the high ground and straight onto it. Madcat gets a triple dash. And this fight is already chaotic, which is exactly what Mortals wants. Although Asmol does go down first, but Blackwing is next. Although with the Mercy Gun, it'll be unclear as to whether or not Mortals can win this fight. Madcat does not quite get the kill on the Tracer. Mindbelt takes up Quap though. Madcat finally goes down, and this is going to be a hold on side of the Pingsocks. Very good plan. I really liked the strategy of just forcing the enemy team onto the point as the tanks just went through that window and onto the point. It'll be interesting to see if they try and take that strategy again, or if they just go straight on through the gateway. Madcat is opting to damage the shield, but the shurikens only do so much against barriers. Blackwing is getting close to his ultimate though. Math is hard already. Got a pulse bomb. Asmol is gonna dive in though. Pulse bomb does not get anything, and Asmol helps Quab take down Hydreigon. Fight is going back and forth, but Madcat gets both the tire and the Junkrat. Blackwing had no health and was finally taken down. Quab is resurrected, adding to the Mortals' fuel. With a Just Tracer over there, this is going to be a cap and a similar time to King's Row with about 2 minutes to spare. I think Asmol still knows that Mathishard is behind them.
My ultimate is charging.
Mathishard is actually already back. Ultimates are coming up for the Pingsocks. They need to hold this before this snowball just rolls through them. The Valkyrie is out. This fight needs to be happening already. Hydreigon does get dove, but does get a bubble. Blackwing gets bumped a little bit, does get Asmol, but he is in Big Monkey. Doesn't get the charge on D.Va. Super unfortunate, as Reinhardt's charge can be fickle. Asmol is actually going to try his best to take out if he does enough damage to help Quab finish her off. Mathester does get away with some health, but the tick of the progress is going up. That's 1.5 ticks, almost 2, but here comes the spawn advantage. Here's a nano monkey. Doesn't need ultimate. Here comes Can't Aim's Graviton. This is going to be a hold. Losing 1 tick, though, is not ideal. If you're Mortals, you're happy about that. You, in your first push, already got a tick, almost a second one, and you still have 2 ultimates coming up. A Barrier Dragon Blade can be devastating. So it is down to Manticat, as well as Jachi, to get that done. V and Mind Balls do have their ultimates as well. Mind Bales can try and nullify Dragon Blade, especially since there's no nano on the side of the Mortals. They're going to opt for this high ground, but they're going to be across the way, so Pharah is going to have a really easy time just launching into their side. Winston dove, but alone. Asmo is just going to be taken out again. This is an issue we've seen before. Most of that does get eaten, but Blackwing is picking up some of the kills. Here comes a late Dragon Blade, not something you wanted to use when so many members were down. Blackwing does take him out. This Winston is exactly what the team needed to hold this point against the dive, and now it's just D.Va. Using a D.Va bomb does get High Dragon, unfortunately, but I have to wonder why. Quab is going to reset, perhaps switching entirely, as well as on the Reinhardt, so she might be switching to Zarya. Blackwing is going to sit up here. And then Manticat, while Zarya isn't here, it's a questionable choice to start this fight, but Manticat already does have Winston down. This is a... Pulse Mod does come through. Actually does get Reaper Lord, unfortunate. The res does come through them. Manticat going to Soldier. Well, it didn't work out on King's Row very often, even though the team still did win. It's a good choice because of the high ground that he can get up here. Blackwing, though, is just making a mess of the Mortals. Just slamming them into this hallway. Get out of my swamp. And he has done his job. He actually gets a rocket to force Manticat away. But as I was saying, Manticat switching to Soldier is very good, especially since he almost has his ultimate, as this is exactly where you want to be as the attacking Soldier. No one can get up here if they're contesting the point. So that's the optimal situation. LA Mortals is waiting for everyone to get to the high ground. They're going to start their push again. It's going to be a messy fight. Charge does come in. Gets both Zarya bubbles. Mathis Heart does get Manticat. Mathis Heart also gets Reaper Lord. Asmo does finish her off, but that was a lot of work. And Reaper Lord's back. This fight's been lost despite the Pingsocks teabag. Or rather, perhaps because of the Pingsocks teabag, that they were able to have the energy to take this fight. Very cute spray. Reaper Lord's got Pulse Bomb. We're running up on 5 ultimates on the side of the Mortals, but 6 ultimates on the side of the Pingsocks. The ult economy is very similar on both teams. It comes down to how well they can use them. Especially this super powerful Pulse Bomb. But Visor does come out, does get Mercy, who just used Valkyrie. That's huge. Here comes an opposing Visor, but Manticat's so low, Vi's able to just shoot him normally. This isn't the kind of fight that Mortals wanted. They have it exactly to where they had last time. Grav does come out, but with Zenyatta's Transcendence, Mind bails everyone out. But now he's one of the only people contesting, as his team's respawns do come in. Here comes the Mercy, actually kind of try and get a res in the middle of that. Not the best decision. Should have just stayed behind. The LA Mortals needed to regroup and call it a day, call it a fight. Come back later, which they're doing now. But with only 30 seconds left, Pain on Table could not afford to go in and die like that. She does have to switch on to Moira to be able to get to the team fast enough. With only 1 ultimate on deck for each team, this is going to be largely mechanics and strategy based. Asmo does do a very suspect charge in his low health. He is going to get healed up by Moira. Pain on Table's doing the best she can. Asmo does go down, even with the Earth Shatter, but unfortunately cannot follow up on it. Emeralds are going to do their best, but having lost so many members, and with the Earth Shatter coming in, can't aim, just cleaning up. That is going to be a solid point B defense, losing only about 50% of the point. Pingsocks looking very good on that defense despite losing their first point fairly quickly. Now it is up to them to do their own attack, hopefully just as fast. Now we see a new scene. Destroyed arcades. This is what happens when you rage quit Overwatch. In any case, maybe they will run their own triple quad tank, maybe they'll run death ball, maybe they'll run dive. But they do have they have their entire time to work with, as all they need to do is get it just past 57% on point B. That's certainly doable. As they can even do it in overtime. They don't need any time left.
Justice will be done.
They are going to run this quad tank composition, just as seen earlier. It was very successful. And it will probably work out for point A, as Mortals is actually running anti-dive. Orisa Hog with a Junkrat and Soldier. Junkrat and Soldier definitely have enough damage to try and take down those tanks, but there's nothing Orisa can really do against 3 or 4 tanks. She has a lot of damage, but it's not enough against those barriers. And her shield doesn't mean much when the tanks just walk through it. It's going to be up to Manticat to try and get an early pick, especially on a healer, and for Reaper Lord to just spam as much damage as he can into the tanks. Otherwise, this is going to be a possible roll on the side of the Pingsocks. The gates are open, and here come the Pingsocks. You see the Junkrat, Pingsocks V already down, under half health. But yeah, they just walked past the Orisa barrier. Blackwing is already on the point. He's gonna do a charge, which was not the correct response to fighting on the point. When you're running quad tank, what you want to do is not get as many picks as fast as you can, like dive, but it's just to survive, to outlast the other team, and to do a charge like that goes against the entire idea of quad tank. They're still gonna be winning this fight though, as Coalesce does come out. Gonna try and get this Mercy and succeed, it would seem. Now it's just time to bully the tanks. Zizmail is caught in the corner, no Fortify will save you from that. And with 7 minutes on deck, they only have to get it to that tick. The only ultimate on each side is Whole Hog and Orisa's Supercharger. Even though the Supercharger is on deck, I think Orisa should have swapped already, as it is gone. Attire is going to try and stop this fight. Doesn't get anything though, I'm not sure what it was going for. Can aim Scott grab? If you get a good grab, this will be devastating to the Mortals. Bears to come out to sustain this fight even longer. And the pulse bomb denied by barriers. This is looking so heavily favored. The Mercy and the Orisa caught in the grab. Even Fortify is not going to save you from that as well. They got a tick already. Zenyatta's going to transcend onto the point, try and hold it as much as possible. But that means that healing isn't going to be there for the team later. Archer does come out, doesn't knock down anyone, but the picks are still coming in. It's the Pingsock after Pingsock getting a kill. The Diva Bomb from B does get the Diva Mech on the other side, which is still a lot of value. Wob does go down. Another Tire's gonna come out. Doesn't get anyone though, not even Roadhog, who didn't even have his vape up. And that's going to be it. That's just a devastating quad tank attack. With, I want to say, 5 minutes left anyway. That was a great showing. Blackwing is going to steal play of the game. Very cute, going into the end of the game. And the cards are just rolling in for the Pingsocks. Mathishard doing a lot of work on that Tracer. I think with the amount of time, 7 minutes, that's a very tough time to hold Point B, but it was definitely possible if the LA Mortals did some composition swaps. The Orisa does not work against quad tank. The fact that Reinhardt and Hog and Zarya can just walk through the barrier means that the barrier means nothing. Orisa doesn't do enough otherwise. She is essentially focused around that barrier. So there was nothing she could do. Hog was a decent choice, but what they really needed was more anti-tank options. A Bastion, if they were going to keep the Orisa or not, the Bastion would have been a very good choice. It rips barriers to shreds. Definitely a Reaper would have been good. Junkrat was doing very well with the tires, but there was no value gotten from the tires. So it was very unfortunate that the tires never got any picks. The first tire we saw on Point B didn't even seem to have a target it was going for. Maybe he was worried that the tire was going to get shot down, but it just got nothing in the end. Aside from that, it was mostly just the fact that they didn't switch their composition. You need to be able to adapt to that. You can't run anti-dive against quad tank, because that tanks are not dive. They are quad tanks. They are bulky. They are not a Tracer and Genji that get hooked or halted once and then just deleted. You need to be able to flex onto other tanks and DPS to be able to stop that. Or even run quad tank of your own. That would have been another good option, especially due to the spawn advantage that the defense has. The tanks coming out after tank with a Moira trying to keep everyone up. You really have to run either of those options, either a mirror composition or a Bastion Reaper, just a tank Slayers. In any case, we are going to go into a break during this halftime while we switch maps, so I will be with you shortly. Hello. And we are back. We're going to go to Lijiang Tower next. Piku is now in on the side of the Pingsocks, as opposed to a High Dragon. Hopefully Piku can fill in that role just as well. There have been no substitutes on the side of the LA Mortals. And as I said, we are going to go to King of the Hill next. We're going to go to Lijiang Tower, which, as I have said before, Control Center is very good for a triple tank. You definitely want a Far Mercy for the Gardens, and you can run pretty much whatever kind of comp you want on the market, except for perhaps a Orisa Hog anti-dive, but still, that's up to you. We're gonna start jumping into this map now. And where are we going, Athena? Thank you very much. We're going to start on the control center. I imagine we'll see triple tank from at least one of the teams with the Junkrat here or there. And possibly some boops. Definitely don't want to be down here under any circumstances. But sometimes fights will lead to Lucio booping you off, unfortunately. Here come the Pingsocks. They are running Death Ball, Junkrat Tracer with their Reinhardt Zarya. And on the other side, an essentially mirror composition, except with a Mercy instead of the Moira. No triple tanks from each side, but Reinhardt Zarya, which will be very good. Manticat is already bullying the squishies on their team, but is already low health. Only 47, no recall, does get taken up by Piku. Manticat does get rezzed though. That is one advantage of having the Mercy. Disadvantage though is not having as much healing, as the Mortals are going to have to back off. Asmo. For a second, I thought he might fall off the pit. But in any case, this is going to be a quick early lead for the Pingsocks. Much too early for ultimates to be a factor. But the Reinhardts are already halfway there. They're opting not to hold the choke point of the gate, though, allowing the Mortals to try and fight from this midpoint. Bubble charge is gonna put these Reinhardts in the fight. Asmo's gonna miss that charge, but V's gonna find two and already swing the fight in favor of the Mortals. I mean, of the Pingsocks. V's been doing very well and even has the tire ready. Could put an early stop before the next fight even happens. This is typically where you want to hold. Seems like he might have actually heard that Junkrat up there. But you want to hold up at that doorway, so it's very interesting the Pingsocks are being a little bit too skittish to hold it there. 2 down for the Pingsocks, tire's only 20 health. It goes down as well. Don't know what happened to that camera, but the LA Mortals do pull ahead in this fight. Asmo could get a very good shatter and claim this point as their own. Both supports are there, doesn't go for the shatter though. Coalesce does come out, and Asmo gets shattered himself. Can't aim, just lasers him down. And he's got a grab. He can drop it at any time, just doesn't want it to get eaten by the D.Va. Lasers down, paint on table. And what should have been a fight for the Mortals does get taken by the Pingsocks. Can't aim does get trapped though, and unfortunately does not get any support. Hammer does come out, but gets nothing as well, unfortunately. Does not get a good shatter. Luckily survives, though, after that clash, but just barely. And while he's trapped, he's going to get taken out by Vi. And this Graviton is going to come up and could clear out the rest of the Mortals and secure this fight for good. The D.Va's down, that was the perfect time to do it, too. Gonna opt to save it for a little bit longer. Pulse Mode does come out, does not get any kills. Blackwing super low. but he is gonna make it. And here's the Graviton, gets 3, 1 from each class. And Magicat ends up taking himself out with that pulse bomb. Not a trade you want to do when you are at 0% against 99. Paint on table, seemingly healing, can't aim, but is actually trying to heal Quab behind her. And this fight is very drawn out, but still continues to be in favor of the Pingsocks. Tyre does get paint on table, can't aim body blocks, and he doesn't even die thanks to the self-bubble. A 100-0 is going to start off Lijiang Tower. Next we're going to go to the Gardens. Vi has already swapped to the Pharah. A smart decision, given how easy it is for her to boop people off of this bridge here. Can't aim, is going to swap off to the Devo. They're going to go full dive, featuring Piku as Mercy to go with the Pharah Mercy. So perhaps not full dive, but definitely the modified dive that we saw a lot of on this map in the Overwatch League. We're going to see a standard dive, similarly, with a Mercy instead of Zenyatta on the side of the Mortals. No Pharah, though. This is a dangerous game, not having anything to contest the enemy for. Actually, they do have Pharah. Reaper Lord actually switched at the last second. So we'll see which Pharah wins the 1v1. They're actually running mirror compositions entirely. So it comes down to strategies and mechanics as to who wins. Pingsocks is just laying down damage. Isn't getting too much ult though, only a quarter of the way there. Needs to be landing more direct hits. Joshi is low though, and there he goes. Oh, V is not quite able to get D.Va before she remechs. That was definitely something V could have done if the direct body shot had landed, but that doesn't matter. The LA Mortals is going to take this fight. Pain on table shows up, doesn't quite get the res, and does go down. No one's still capped yet, and kills are starting to become even. But still, they're mostly in favor of the Pingsocks. And finally, they will cap and take the percent lead. It'll be interesting to see if Reaper Lord is going to have any luck with his 1v1, or if he needs to swap off to a hit scan to try and take out V. Damage is coming through, but the defense matrix keeps eating a lot of the rockets. Both Pharahs are just spamming into this choke. V doesn't seem to see the 1v1, or at least acknowledge it. As if the missiles don't land, it's not something you have to worry about. Math is hard does get to, though. Quab gets brought back up. And things are continuing to be in favor of the Pingsocks. Late pick onto Asmoel. And then the Pharah Reaper Lord will be late to go down as well. And that's going to be a lot more percent. Only a few fights remaining if the Mortals want to take this. Just the slightest of chip damage from Math is hard. Trying to get his pulse bomb up any which way. Quab has swapped off to the McCree to try and deal with the Pharah Mercy. It will be very tough to do it alone though, unless he's being damage boosted or given a Zenyatta Discord Orb. But he bombs down Joshi. And Mathasar does spot the Pharah. Still a little bit too high to do much damage to, but Reaper Lord does have to land. And the damage is being done. At least the distraction is here. As if you can distract both Pharah and Mercy, that makes the rest of the fight a 5v4. Which is exactly what you want in that situation. We've got 5 ultimates coming up for the Pingsocks. And with this last fight coming up, it could be it. Pulse Bomb does come out, doesn't get anyone though, as the barriers save Quab from a swift death. Mathasar does go down. Health anyway. Barrage comes out, doesn't get anything though, and gets answered with a different Barrage that gets both Pharah and Mercy. Don't want that to happen. Gets a kill onto Piku. Oof. But that High Noon's not going to catch anything with a rocket to the face. With just 2 low health targets, this is going to be one of the fastest 2-0s on King of the Hill I have yet to see. Pingsocks taking a much stronger lead than seen in the first game that the Mortals won. Maybe some substitutions here or there, closer teamwork and communication, but Mortals is just struggling to come back into this. The last map is going to be a payload map. We're going to make a substitution out for the Pingsocks. I believe Gibraltar is one of the two options, Gibraltar or Dorado. I imagine we'll be going to Gibraltar, but it is up to one of the teams to decide which one. Piku had accidentally set up the lobby to be a best of 5 in King of the Hill. That is still the default, unfortunately, despite the fact that not even in the competitive matchmaking is best of 5 the normal way to play. Caesar Salad and Obs It's Me are in. Piku is out, as is Mind Veils. Actually, Mind Veils is back in. And we'll see how they adapt onto this payload map. If Mortals can eke out a win, they'll be able to take this to a tiebreaker Game 5 on King of the Hill. And I imagine that they want that badly. This has nothing to do with rankings, as this is just a scrim during the preseason. It does have no outcome on seeding, but they want the pride. They want to beat the Pingsocks. So we'll see if they are able to. Over with the icons, we've got Manticat being a rebel in his own right, swapped to the Japanese flag. Definitely does not go with the rest of his team. Quab already an outlier with the Rhinoceros, but at least had the right color scheme. We're actually going to go to Dorado, which is another good Far Mercy map. So I'm sure that we will see a lot of that. On the side of the Pingsocks, we now have Piku and Mind Veils sharing the same champagne bottle icon. Obs It's Me will be playing this round as a member of one of the 4 champagne glasses icons. They're running a 2-4 composition, which has been very successful in the past. May give them the edge over the mess that is the Mortals icon composition. We are waiting for this game to be underway. But the game will be starting soon. And we will head over to Dorado. You heard that sound. You know it's coming.
Traveling to Dorado.
Here we are in the courtyard. Lots of bells to ring. You can play the Futurama theme up here. This is a very good spot for Hanzos and Widows, particularly Widow being on this back roof. You get a really good sightline onto the enemy team's typical defense. Over on this side, teams typically want to hold from here before rotating back behind the choke point, which can be one of the strongest choke points in the game. That being said, though, it's not likely that they will get a full hold, as that is not typically what happens, but it is certainly possible. We do have a Widow on attack. Quab is going to try and get some picks. Possibly to just 1v1 the attacking Widow, if the Pingsocks were to so have one.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Otherwise, they are running a Reinhardt Diva, which is a very interesting tank composition. Not too much synergy, but you can get some cheeky Earth Shatter Diva Bomb combos. Or at the very least, you have Reinhardt to protect your frontline damage while Diva goes in, dives, and comes back.
Ready for combat.
On the side of the Pingsocks, we do have a pretty standard dive with a Moira, which could spell danger for the Widowmaker, as even just a Genji on his own is able to take a Widow out. But look at the positioning from Quad. Even if someone tries to dive Quab, He could just step off the ledge. He could just escape, as he is right now. Asmol is taking out a mech though. Gets caught out up there. And both teams essentially down to tank. Piku doesn't seem to be aware that there's an angry Asmol behind him. He does get taken down by V though. And this payload is starting to roll through the choke point. Quab does take down V, but that Mercy, Pain on Table, is just stuck in there. No way to escape. Manticat is here as the reinforcements. He's going to try and put a stop to this payload that is just ever rolling forward. Winston does jump for the Widow and takes her out immediately. Doesn't seem like anything can stop this attack. I'm not even sure who's contesting. Manticat does get the charge onto Winston and does take Blackwing out. But look at how close the payload is. Get the healers off, get the baby diva, and this is as good as captured. Manticat is gonna consider contesting, but knows that without a healer he will not last for long, as he may end up just feeding more than he means to. Ooh, and he's just barely far enough that he's not able to contest, as the gates do open. Pain on Table flies out, not sure why or where or for who, but gets caught out and does look like Genji is going to be on her. As is the Winston. This is the perfect kind of dive you want, as everyone's spread out. Blackwing's making as much space as possible to push this payload ahead. But there's only one on the payload, so it's not moving as fast as it could. Blackwing is going to be caught up here with only 100 health, stuck on the roof. This isn't where you want to be at 55 health. Piku ignores his low health Winston. Unfortunate, as he is going to have to take the respawn. Asmol does have his Diva Bomb. 5 ultimates on the side of the Mortals. Diva Bomb is going to be used as his Pulse Bomb from the enemy team. Doesn't get anyone with the Diva Bomb, but maybe a little bit of time is gained for the defense. Quab does find Caesar Salad. That is it, though. As ults are stacking up for both teams. Blackwing does get Jachi, but it was a very risky maneuver. But with the Reinhardt barrier down, the Diva Bomb does get 2 and a mech. Piku finds one with his Coalescence. And that's gonna... Alright. Obviously, is a little excited. But that is gonna push it to the second phase. And oops, says the Genji. But maybe they won't get it to the second phase, as Manticat does get a good shatter. Coalesce is out, gonna try and keep the team alive, but it's not enough. Manticat does go down. Caesar Salad does have Blade if he needs it. Here comes the tire, and it actually takes out Caesar before he can use his ultimate. And this might, in fact, be a hold for the Mortals. Had it not been for that tire, they might not have been able to hold it. But they luckily got enough picks, thanks to Reaper Lord, that they were able to finally put a stop to this push. But almost 3 minutes to get it 5 meters is a lot. Pingsocks are going to rotate around the side, catch Manticat in a bit of a pose. Lucio's already low. Jachi goes down thanks to a dash. Diva is unmech'd, and Quab gets the Diva herself. What was looking like a strong attack is going to be in favor of the Mortals, and oh, Piku. That is not when you want to use Coalescence. You do not want to use that as a 1v1. It is most strong when it is healing your team, especially your tanks. Piku needed to disengage a long time ago and save on to that ult. Hopefully his team can make up for it. As Blackwing does have Earth Shatter, if it is not blocked, it could be huge. But they don't have anything to take down that barrier. V does switch off to Soldier though. Does a lot of damage, so he might be able to do something. They should probably be waiting for their Soldier though, as they're fighting a 5v6. Blackwing does capture Reaper Lord though, and he might be looking for a Shatter. Doesn't get anybody with it, and he does go down to Reaper Lord, who had been resurrected. Reaper Lord's about to get a tire and might hold this even longer. Valkyrie does finish up. Piku has switched to a Mercy as well. And Asmol is going to get his mech back momentarily. 54%. And only a minute left. That's about a fight and a half. The Pingsocks have to make this work if they want to get to the second point. The dive is going to come in. Blackwing's already low though. Bears come out, and V actually gets two. The Junkrat especially important, as well as the Mercy. V gets a third. He's uncontested on this high ground. Asmo's going to try and stop him, but the damage has already been done. And this, barring any quad kill with this Diva Bomb, does get Piku. Oh no! But regardless, unless the tire gets a bunch, which it did not, this will most likely be in favor of the Pingsocks. All V needs to do is pop his visor to finish this off, or he's going to try and save it, but with this much time left, it's much safer to use the ult rather than die with it. With just pick after pick, Caesar Salad and V clean it up, and they're going to just barely in overtime make this point. With only a minute and 20 now, they have to make it all the way to the end with barely any ultimates. Blackwing has his. Piku is close, but that is it. A tank and a support ult is not enough to clear out a team. On the opposing side, though, we have Quad with the Pulse Bomb.
60 seconds.
If it's good, it could stop the team in their tracks. Ooh. And despite getting charged and moving Pulse Bomb around, that was a very good shatter. And the Pulse Bomb even got Blackwing in the process. And with Asmo helping clean up, that is going to be a stop. The only things that the Pingsocks can hope for right now is a long, drawn-out fight from here to the end. They're going to have to win this fight here outright, and then, once they get to the very end of the track, win another team fight without losing their team. This is going to be incredibly difficult, because their spawn's so far away, especially compared to the defending spawn. But Reaper Lord does go down. Mind Veils goes down, though. Panda Table does get taken out while trying to resurrect, and things are looking decent for the Pingsocks. It'll come down to if they can actually kill enough, fast enough, or else the defensive spawns will come in. Valkyrie's coming out from Pain on Table, trying to keep everyone alive. DQ Valks as well. Now the Pingsocks cannot allow themselves to forget about the payload. It has not moved this fight. They need to clear people off of it first. Pingsocks Blackwing is going to try and make some space, as now the payload is making some progress. And a good jump to avoid the Earth Shatter. Tire though, could this stop the push? It doesn't look like the tire itself, but Asmol and Manticat are getting the kills onto tanks and supports. Reaper Lord takes down V, and despite the Dragon Blade, I don't think it's going to be enough. Manticat does go down, but Pink's Mind Veils doesn't have enough health to contest this payload. And does look like this is going to be the final stopping point for the Pingsocks. This is where you get off the bus. Enjoy your day at school.
Score 0-2. Switching sides.
And here's where it needs to be. It's certainly doable, and you can use all of your time, even overtime, to get it to that box. LA Mortals is looking to be in a very good spot to get this 5th game going. They just need to do a decent job at pushing the payload. Perhaps this calming scenery and paintings of Dorado will give them the advantage they need to push to the end.
I'm back in the fight.
Does look like the Mortals are going to do a similar strategy tank-wise, even down to Quad being the Widowmaker. We're going to have Reinhardt on the payload while Asmael chases down targets, and Quab snipes whatever he can. Jachi on the Mei, a tease yet again. Definitely pulling a Muma.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Expecting a dive, we do have the Pingsocks as the anti-dive composition. McCree, Junkrat, Roadhog, Orisa. We do have a Zenyatta, and we have Piku on the Ana. This is all very good, but it depends on if they're going to get dived, and how soon they can rotate around to hold the choke point. This can be a very good composition once you hold the first choke point. Just depends on how well they play mechanically. Quap does jump up to try to get a shot, but look at that barrier. There's nothing that he can do about it. He doesn't get pulled down. Piku is actually out of position regarding that barrier, but he has almost killed Quap himself. Manticat gets V, and the Mortals are pushing this payload. And Quap does get Blackwing before he can rotate. This comp has now been rendered ineffectual at stopping this payload. Manticat does go low, but he is going to get healed back up. And the picks are trading, but that's still better for the Mortals than it is for the Pingsocks. Reaper Lord does get rezzed. And Manticat is just going to fight this Roadhog despite the fact that he is being healed by the Ana. Piku is keeping him alive to the best of his ability, but he does get taken down by Asmael. And now it is just Blackwing here to contest this payload. That's going to be a quick first point with about 3 minutes. As there was at no point a time that the Pingsocks could actually defend. Blackwing is going to switch to the Winston for the dive potential, and I hope Obs It's Me switches to the D.Va. Otherwise, this is going to be a very confusing and awkward tank composition. Quab sneaks up, tries to get a shot, doesn't quite land it. Caesar Salad does get hit. Here comes the D.Va Bomb. Doesn't get anybody. And no one is actually moving the payload on the side of the Mortals. So there it goes. Ooh, and the hook is actually going to come in handy as Asmael is now mechless. Obs It's Me is going to stick onto this Roadhog just to try and get the picks to stop the pushes. But in the long run, that may not be the best option, but it is too early to tell. Blackwing has collapsed onto the point. V takes down Quab. And Caesar Salad does not get anything with his Deadeye, despite the Valkyrie Mercy in the air. Discord though, but you've got to land your shot, Caesar. Whoa! Reinhardt goes to the moon. Manticat was about to go to Horizon Lunar Colony, had enough of Dorado. Oh, and the body block allows Reinhardt to get resurrected, but without the healing, I'm not sure it's going to be worth it. This fight is being incredibly drawn out. And the Mortals hasn't seemed to be getting any footing past this point. They have pushed Blackwing back though. What the Pingsocks need now is for V to get a very good tire to stop this push. D.Va does come out, most likely to just get a new mech, and here comes the tire. On to Jachi. And with 2 picks and a tank down, it does look like Pingsocks will be able to put a stop to this payload at this point, similarly to when the LA Mortals stopped them. Atari does come out and gets Reaper Lord, but that's it. Definitely not as much value as you want, and definitely much too late than it needed to be.
I am repaired.
Quab's got Genji Blade, and Josh has got Barrier. This could be a very potent potential. The only problem, though, is that Mind Bales is holding on to Transcendence. Quab knows this and is going to try and whittle Mind Bales down so that he can force Transcendence before he uses Blade. Pan on table does go down early, though. That's going to be huge. Quab's just in their backline as Jachi goes down as well. There's no healers. Oof! And Quab actually used Deadeye to kill V. Not the intended target, but that will be an insulting pick regardless. Quab is still waiting for his reinforcements. As Mandacat is all the way up here somehow, for some reason. Does get picked off super late. And Immortals is just getting so staggered right now. They had so much steam, but they've been getting picked off so late that they just aren't able to push as one single unit. Pingsocks with almost 4 ults compared to a similarly stacked LA Immortals. The ult economy is very similar. It'll come down to how well these are used and in what sequence. Blackwing is up top trying to look for any juicy targets, as he does see a lot of the team go underneath. He has to ult just to stay alive, but he's going to put Mandacat out of position. Get onto the payload, he says. He gets an Earth Shatter, but doesn't get much off of it, as Blackwing just kind of knocks him around. Support ults being used on both sides, the barriers, both Valkyries. Quab does get 2. Pika brings 1 back up, though. So that's only a net of 1 Dragonblade kill. He kills Caesar Salad again, though. And this fight is going in favor of the Mortals, albeit barely. Transcendence does come out to heal Blackwing up, but here's a Diva Bomb, and that's going to get a triple. Asmoel cleans up half of the Pingsocks team with 1 ultimate. And that's more than enough to finish out this point. Now they have 2 minutes to get it just halfway through this phase. And Mindveils is caught out of position due to that late respawn, but Quab decides not to push it and to go for V instead. Blowing 32 health, he is going to have to back away. As well as mech does go down. That's going to be a hindrance to his team. Earth Shatter does come out though, but Mandacat dies in the midst. But the unfortunate thing here is that Mercy's down 1v1 in Quab. This is not a position Pika wants to be in, as he's not getting any value from his healing. Quab finishes him off, but here comes the tire. Will it be able to stop the team? No, V destroys it before it can get any damage done. Oof. But Blackwing gets a double kill with his charge. Mercy was so low that she died on the way. That's some fast food as far as Reinhardt's concerned. Does cut down Reaper Lord as well. This was a very good swap for this third phase. V is on the Pharah as well. Very good against Junkrat. And to Genji to a similar extent, as there's nothing they can really do against Pharah. Earth Shatter could try and stop this push, but the LA Immortals are on the high ground. And Quab, already with Diva half health, is going to try and go for Dragon Blade, maybe? Opts not to use it yet. That would have been very good, though. V goes down, though. And all Immortals need to do is they don't even need to win this fight outright. They just need to make enough space for the payload to get pushed through. And that's 2 down. That's 3. That's Valkyrie down. He does get Earth Shattered, but the damage has clearly been done. Reaper Lord's Death Mines actually kill Blackwing. And the Mortals Earth Shatter is going to clean this up. And it is looking like it will be a tie. Caesar Salad decides to pull the trigger and get reflected to death in the end.
Play of the game.
Quab is going to run away with play of the game, most likely in that last moment. And we'll see from his perspective. He gets 1, 2, and then even gets the Valkyrie Mercy, which was huge. Gets shattered in the end, but he did his job. He did what he needed to. And LA Immortals cleaned up.
Epic.
Thanks for your support.
That was a very good showing from both teams. The game was very close, but the Mortals were able to close that one out, and we're going to go to Nepal for a King of the Hill tiebreaker. The score is currently 2-2, and this one King of the Hill map will decide who wins this scrim. We're going to see a substitution out for the Mortals. I'm not entirely sure who left, but we're going to get a new player on their side. On Nepal, there are a lot of boop potentials, particularly on the Shrine map. It's definitely something you want to run a Risa Hog Lucio. You almost never see a competitive team run that map without those heroes. On the other team, or on the other maps though, Village, you can run Dive, Death Ball, Triple Tank, and even on the Shrine, you can run those as well, or the Temple rather. Shrine, I believe, is the one with the pit, but it is, I think that's right. In any case though, this tiebreaker is going to be very intense. Piku is out for the Pingsocks as Thobe goes in, a name that I do recognize from the last game that I casted with the Pingsocks. So it'll be very interesting to see how it goes. Manticat in for the Mortals. It was already there, so I'm not actually sure if there was a replacement or not on the side of the Mortals. This game should be started soon. As Manticat asks the important question, can I get a K Kona in the chat? That is the question indeed. This game will be underway shortly. We do see Magiano in for the Pingsocks, though. Rebelling more than anyone else on his team with a Sombra icon, similar color scheme. Thought he could get away with it, having an icon similar to Mindbell's and Thobe, but he has caught out red-handed or purple-handed in this case. Don't think I didn't see that, Magiano.
Traveling to Nepal.
Apologies for the no mic, I forgot that I had it muted. But in any case, there was a glitch on the side of the Pingsocks. Magiano seemed to have a crash, so we are going to wait for a player to fill in for the Pingsocks. Magiano is being added back, and we'll see if they can actually play it this time.
Traveling to Nepal.
We're gonna go to Nepal for real this time,
Prepare to attack.
and we're actually gonna go to the shrine.
Select your hero.
Typically, we will see a Pharah Mercy on this map, as well as a Deathball tanks or dive. And not everyone was ready. Apologies for the technical difficulties on the side of the lobby. I assure you we will get to Game 5 tonight, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like everyone is ready at the moment. So I'm going to hold off a little bit, and we will be back soon.
Traveling to Nepal.
As they say, third time is the charm, and we're gonna go back to the shrine. So, to recap everything I said, Pharah Mercy, Deathball, Triple Tank, Shoot Gun Fast, Ultimate, Rigo Waga Teka wa Karao, win. Don't look at me with that face. And here we go again. We've got Quab on the Genji, as Mortals is going to run a dive, paint on table, cheats, gets a basketball in with Symmetra's laser gun. They're going to run standard dive with a Mercy and a Junkrat. The opposing team is going to have a similar composition. The Pingsocks are going to run dive, actually incredibly standard. They are running the as classic dive as you can. They're gonna take the high ground, and B is gonna try and flank and get some picks. The best pick possible would be on paint on table Mercy, although you know what? A mech is pretty good. Mercy does go down anyway, in part to Pingsocks B. Eradicat is gonna chase down D.Va, and that's going to be a quick take for the Pingsocks. They just have to finish off as well. And that will be it. Sucks with the other percent lead, which is just like what we saw the earlier King of the Hill on Lijiang Tower. The power of science may be what Pingsocks need to pull ahead. And Quab is already gonna try and get some poke damage, get build his ult up. He's already at 90%. He just needs to get some healing before he commits to anything. He's gonna try and take down Caesar Salad, but if he, as well as Blackwing, are going to make sure he's covered. He's going to get pan on table as well, and this is going to be a clean fight in favor of the Pingsocks, as not a single character is lost. Reaper Lord is about to get a tire, though. This could be what the Mortals need to finish off this first take. Or at least to start it. They need to do something. Something to note is that Reaper Lord's trap is all the way out there. He hasn't been using any traps. Not getting any value out of that E. He's gonna start spamming grenades onto the point though. Res does not come out. Caesar Salad takes Asmowell. And the point is just ticking up and up. Paint on table goes down. Mind Veil's the first one of the Pingsocks to die in a while. Reaper Lord does go down and Thobe cleans up. V finishes off Quab, who's still holding on to his own ultimate. But with 4 ultimates on the side of Pingsocks, and such a late respawn from Anticat, I'm not sure Mortals have any chance of taking this point. Only 5%. We're gonna start with an ulting monkey on the point. And a Transcendence will come out to keep them all healthy, and a second support ult. Their supporters definitely should have been spaced out better. Joshi does go down. V's in a trap, but Reaper Lord is unable to capitalize since Thobe finishes him off. And another textbook hold, it seems. Caesar Salad goes down, but that is it. It seems that past that first capture, only 2 players from Pingsocks lost any lives, and they're both supports. The focus from the LA Mortals needs to be a lot tighter. They need to be diving the same targets, they need to be going together, they need to be establishing when, and where, and who. The power of science is indeed what they needed, as they were able to take a clean take of Shrine. We are now on the village, which may be the last point they need to take to win the series. Substitution for Magiano seems to be working out for them. A very interesting composition from the Mortals, though, as they're going to be running an Orisa Bastion. Perhaps assuming there was some kind of tank-heavy lineup, or just want to use the high ground for a Bastion. It's just going to be unfortunate for Quab, as the dive is just going to rip him apart. He takes out Blackwing, but dive counters Bastion more than anything else. Reaper Lord's trap does kill V though, and it does look like the Mortals are going to pull ahead in this fight. That being said, Reaper Lord is low, and he didn't get the healing as Mind Veils is able to take him out. As well as Manticat. Mind Veils going on a rampage, and they need to cap this point. They're busy finishing off these characters instead of actually capping the point. Finally, V is going to take the point and start the percent lead. They could have gotten 5% or so more, but in the end, they did take it. Quab is sticking on the Bastion, perhaps because he has ultimate, but the team already knows that it's not working. It's not going to work in any sort of sustain because of the dive. So after Quab uses his ult, he needs to switch, and he needs to use his ult to instigate this fight. Because if he dies with ult and has the same strategy of saving, like staying on Bastion until he ults, it's just not going to get his team anywhere. This is actually working out fantastically well this time, though. Now that they are essentially holding a defense up on the high ground, they are able to push through. A bit foolish, I would say, on the side of the Pingsocks, trying to attack the Bastion, as they could have just stayed on the point and avoided the fight altogether. Barriers do come out. Quab is at 2/3 health, but he's going to rip this D.Va apart. but he's actually not going to get away from Caesar Salad. As Pingsock attacks are coming through, Manticat is forced to get away, and they're going to stagger these tanks. Again, a fight that should have been in favor of the Mortals is held for the Pingsocks, and another super late stagger, but Thobe goes down, and with no mercy to res him, that's just unfortunate. But here we have, again, Quab did not use his ultimate, and despite the picks that he got, they did not take the point. This is not a character that you can stay on like that. If Quab, or rather the Mortals, do not take this point, it may be due to the fact that they are keeping the same composition based around the Bastion. They are going to take down 3 though with Quab's damage boost, and a 4th onto this monkey. That is what they needed, but at 99%, will it be enough? They have to hold for the whole time in order to hold the point. And with a full dive coming through, it might not be enough. That being said, Blackwing has switched over to the Reinhardt, which is really interesting. Given that his barrier gets eaten up, I think Winston is a much better choice against Bastion. But he's actually going to use the shields just to try and rotate to the point, keep his team alive long enough to get there. You're going to try and force the Bastion to have to fight them, as opposed to them diving the Bastion, which is a valid strategy. Blackwing is taking a lot of damage, though. Oof, but a pulse bomb takes out Quab and Asmul. Asmul gets brought up, but that's a lot of damage that they don't have anymore. Blackwing does go down. And Asmul actually gets a triple kill. That pulse bomb was so good, but the fact that Mercy was able to get a res, and the fact that V took herself out with a pulse bomb, is actually going to lead to Mortals holding this a little bit longer. And oh, Manticat, you are making me dizzy. Reaper Lord's got Tire. That might be able to get them some more percent. But they have to be incredibly careful, as again, one lost team fight is the game, the set, and the match. Thobe's getting close to his Dragon Blade, 95%, but he is taken down by a Reaper Lord. Mortals are getting the picks again, and a really late beat that only got Lucio, I think. That is not how you want to use that ultimate. And he's actually staggering himself. This is the opposite of what you want. He's going to get taken down late by Manticat, thanks to Quab's help. And that honestly might have cost them the round itself, just staggering himself so long that it didn't allow Lucio to be available in this last fight. And then again, a very subpar support ult coming out from Transcendence. Reaper Lord's going to take down Blackwing. And somehow this Bastion pick worked. He is going to get blasted off into space, but the picks are still in favor of the Mortals, and they should be able to clear this up. Mindveils is stalling the point again, but it's just the support ults and the self-staggers really punished Pingsocks. They should have had this fight two or three times. And that would have won them the whole set. And the fact that they made so many key mistakes repeatedly really put them at a disadvantage. We're going to see Orisa stay on Asmul. Basket is acquired by the Pingsocks without the use of a cheating Symmetra, which is going to give them a lot of luck on this point. They are going to run Diva Orisa. They're not going to run Hog. As far as the Pingsocks go, the Mortals are going to run Orisa Hog with a Soldier and a Junkrat, which is a lot of good positioning and damage. V is going to run Tracer, try and get behind that Orisa barrier and do as much damage as possible. It's going to be a fight as to whether the Diva or Roadhog pick were better. The Mortals Orisa are actually going to fight from the point, which is an interesting strategy. Pingsocks doesn't quite really have a target to go for at the moment, as everyone's playing close together. The point is unlocking, and it's going to be in favor of the Mortals unless the Pingsocks can contest, and it doesn't look like it. They don't even try. They're stuck on that high ground and didn't contest at all. That was very good positioning. Oftentimes teams don't do that because it's dangerous to be under the high ground, but the Pingsocks just aren't able to utilize that to its potential. Quab gets a kill onto V, and Thobe gets caught out of position, does get taken down by Quab as well. And Quab already has his visor. This is already very in favor of the Mortals. And Pingsocks seem to have just run out of steam. Their strategies aren't working, they're stalling when they shouldn't, they're misusing ultimates. Perhaps the communication isn't as strong as it was the first round, but they need to adjust somehow to try and take this. Blackwing is trying to get these pulls, but they just aren't working. The spacing is not correct. And the visor comes out from Quab. Isn't able to get anyone, though. It does get Thobe low, but the barriers is going to keep everyone protected. And speaking of barriers, here comes the Lucio barriers. The tire does get paint on table, and Quab. Thobe is going to swing this in favor of the Pingsocks, and they're going to start to get some time on their own as soon as they can clear Asmo off the point. Unnecessary pulse bomb, but it will get the job done. Mind Pals does go down, but he is Lucio and will be with us shortly. They do have Hug and Nano ults, which may be what they need to hold on to this, but look at the 5 ults coming up on the side of the Mortals. This is going to be incredibly hard to hold against. Barriers are broken, but he's going to hook onto Manta Cat, and that will be a good start. Supercharger is down, but it does look like it's only helping Asmoel. Tire does get destroyed by Thobe. They do have to worry about Quab, though, as unchecked, he will just rip through the Pingsocks. He takes out Lucio, but in turn gets taken down by V. Manta Cat gets pushed off, unfortunately, and Pingsocks is going to hold on even longer. And they're going to finish off Jashi as he tries to jump off and reset. And all those ultimates, unfortunately, were no use to the Mortals, as they did not take the point. And the percent it's tying up for the Pingsocks. And now the only ultimate on deck is the Supercharger on side of Blackwing. Quab is getting close to his, though. And that could cause some devastating damage. But talk about devastating damage, look at how much damage Blackwing is doing. Asmol is very low. Blackwing is going to rotate onto the point, use Supercharger if necessary. And Thobe actually takes down Reaper Lord, winning the Junkrat 1v1. That's a lot of damage that they aren't going to have against these barriers. He does get resurrected, though. Blackwing needs to back up before he takes too much damage. Ooh, Quab gets put to sleep and taken out. Points at 90%. If the Mortals don't win this fight, this is going to be a win for the Pingsocks. Mind Bells is going to drop the barriers to make sure he and the rest of his team live. Manta Cat is going to only does get 2. Almost gets moved off, but survives. Pulse Bomb does come out, though, and gets a triple! That is humongous for the Pingsocks, as they'll just have to clear up this point before the reinforcements arrive, and this will be their game. That being said, Lucio and Tracer are surviving much longer than they should, especially with the Supercharger. Finally, Amelie will finish off Quab. Josh is still jumping around, though. Finally gets taken down, but not before Asmol can contest. Warriors here as well to try and keep him up. This point is almost getting flipped, but Thobe gets 2, including the tire. Paint on table gets knocked off somehow. Manta Cat goes down. But again, this is such a good stall coming from the LA Mortals. But unfortunately, despite as long as Jachi and Quab contested, this game is going to go to the Pingsocks as well as the match. That was an incredibly close match. Very good to both sides. GG's all around. Game 5, we love to see that. We love to see all of the teams playing as much as they can, as close games as they can. That was a very exciting game, and I hope the rest of the games are very similar. I would love to see more matches like that in the Overwatch Community Cup. Until then, I will see you later.